Hello everybody, how's it going? It's me, Krendor, and welcome back to Krendor Talks in front of a shitty green screen. Today, we're talking about Tzeentch because we've got the Tzeentch faction focus up on the old Warhammer website, and we got a little bit of a mixed review, I believe, from a lot of people, from what I've been reading, but personally, I like this a lot, so I'll explain why as we go through. So let's just jump right into it. So you've got all the lore, you know, if you can read this if you want, but let's get down to the main stuff we got here. So, battle traits. As worshippers of the Architect of Fate, the disciples of Tzeentch can subtly shift probability in their own favor. They're led by masters of destiny who can manipulate reality to ensure the right outcomes in the direst circumstances. Destiny dice, you get 9 because that's Tzeentch's sacred number. Allow you to replace your dice results from casting rolls to save rolls, ensuring your fragile sorcerers can survive incoming attacks and retaliate with suitable force. So here we are. These are your battle traits. You've got your Masters of Destiny, which it's Destiny dice. That's what you had previously. I don't remember the exact specifics of Destiny dice, because listen, I play Tzeentch, but I only played Tzeentch 3 times. I have way too many armies, and the reason I didn't like Tzeentch was they were one of those armies where I didn't mind playing them, but it felt very not fun to play against, right? And Seraphon kind of became that at the end of 3rd edition. OBR was very much that. Like, there are some armies that are just not fun to play against people. So, like, occasionally, if I knew we were playing a really sweaty game or something, I'd be like, you know what, I'm going to bust out the Tzeentch. And everyone's like, oh, God, you just castle up and you go... And that's how you play Tzeentch. Then you summon and you're like, blue, blue, and you're like, I got a 6, I got a 6, I got a 6. Right? That's how you play Tzeentch. So I love Destiny dice. I'm glad they kept Destiny dice. I think they're fun. I think they're great. I think it's just, you know, you get the RNG of the dice, like who knows what numbers you'll get. And then just being able to change any of these, you know, casting, unbinding, banishment, run, charge, hit, wound, and save rolls. That's pretty good, right? I mean, sure. I'm fine with that. I think it's cool. I'm glad they kept it. So, this is where we start getting into the new stuff. So, we have once per turn, any shooting phase. So, this can be either shooting phase. Pick an enemy unit that had any damage points allocated to its turn, or allocated to it this turn by weird flame spell abilities or shooting attacks made with weapons that have the weird flame weapon ability to be the target. Effect. The target has the burning keyword. So already I was just like, wait, what is this? So let's just, so I'm just going to go through these in order. Once per turn, end of any turn, roll a d3 for each burning enemy unit. Okay. So that's correlating. On a 2 or 3, inflict an amount of mortal damage on that unit equal to the roll. On a 1, the unit no longer has the burning keyword. So, I like this. This reminds me of like a disease mechanic. Because when I played Nurgle in the previous edition, it's so much fun at the end of the turn being like, you're diseased, you take mortal wounds. You're diseased, you take mortal. Like, I love playing Nurgle for that reason. And so, now Tzeentch has this kind of disease mechanic, but it's a burning mechanic. So, right, you're just rolling a d3 for every burning unit, and then you're just doing 2 to 3 mortal wounds. Like, that seems pretty insane, to be honest. However, this is like, you know, to make something have burning, there's going to be various things that give stuff burning, right? But the one is just, again, once per turn in any shooting phase. So that's really nice because you can just mark a target that you really want to die, where you're like, you know what, let's just get some mortal wounds on this thing, take it out. Hope you don't roll a 1. You're gonna definitely roll some 1s. Let's be real. This is a dice rolling game. If Blood Bowl's taught me anything, there's way too many 1s. And then quenching the flames. If a burning enemy unit uses an ability that would heal or return slain models to it, instead of healing or returning slain models to it, the unit no longer has the burning keyword. So it's actually just like how disease worked, but I don't remember if you healed like 2 points. You could use 1 to heal disease, 1 to heal yourself. I think you just had to remove disease, if I remember. So, I mean, it pretty much is disease. Like, I love this. I think it is really cool. It's definitely going to make me think about playing more Tzeentch. Like, I think these are really cool battle traits. Just my personal opinion. So, by drawing on Conflagration of Tzeentch, these potent wizards can also engulf enemies in burning weird flame, profane unnatural fire that twists and mutates its victims instead of simply reducing them to ash. Foes struck by certain infernal spells and shooting attacks gain the burning keyword, and at the end of each turn, they can suffer mortal damage. And then what we just said. Battle formation. So here's one of the battle formations. Subtract 1 from wound rolls for attacks made by burning enemy units. That's pretty good. I mean, just making something -1 to wound at any point in the game is usually pretty good, so seems pretty good. Plus, it's also probably going to take some mortal wounds potentially then, so it's having a real bad time. Then we get a spell example here, Transformed to Spawn. Declare, pick a friendly Disciples of Tzeentch wizard, this is on a 7 by the way, cast a spell, pick an enemy unit within 12, cast on a 2d6, inflict d3 mortal damage on the target. If any models are slain by this ability, pick a friendly Chaos Spawn of Tzeentch that is in reserve as a potential fate or that has been destroyed. If you pick a unit in a reserve as a potential fate, set it up on the battlefield in a combat with the target. If you pick the unit that has been destroyed, set it up, or set up an identical replacement unit on the battlefield combat with the target. So, this is big because here they say there is no summoning units from nothing in the new edition of Age of Sigmar in order to reduce the need for extra miniatures beyond your initial army list. Instead, recycling destroyed units with powerful abilities is the order of the day. Chaos Spawn of Tzeentch is designed specifically for this purpose as it is set up in the reserves and unleashed straight into combat by the Transform to Spawn spell. They also show the Waves of Mutation ability, which is a passive it has that says each friendly Chaos Spawn of Tzeentch unit can be replaced by any number of times, while pretty much other units to get brought back can only be replaced once. So this thing can just come back and come back and come back, like can continuously come back. So this is big because summoning has been a thing for a long time, right? Like I remember I started playing Age of Sigmar in 2nd edition. I would play Lizardmen, Seraphon, and you summoned a lot. Like it was a lot of summoning, man. And then 3rd edition came along. The first Seraphon book came out. It was like end of 2nd, early 3rd. It was around there. And the book was really good. And there was more summoning, right? And then the latest book came out, and there's still some summoning, but not... It was toned down. You could definitely tell they were toning down the summoning quite a bit. And I had a feeling they were going to take summoning out or just really nerf it. And personally, I'm glad it's gone. Because one for the reason they just mentioned, which is I hated having to bring a bunch of stuff that I might use, right? Like, it's like, oh, well, I need my skinks, I need my Saurus warriors, I need my Ripperdactyls, I need my engine, I need my Bastiladon, I need that. And it's like you have to bring everything and then you don't even use it. It's just like, you get it? Like, there's just so much shit you got to bring for no reason. And I get that some people are like, it's the flavor of the summoning. That's what my army is. But it's like they're still keeping a sort of flavor of it. Like, I'm glad they didn't just, be like, it's dumb, get rid of everything, kind of tied it. Like, they're keeping the summoning in, I think, a pretty smart way, actually, of like, oh, my skinks died, right? I imagine Seraphon will have something like this. Like, oh, I can cast a spell to bring them back or spend some sort of point system to bring those skinks that died back, right? So it's a way of summoning without having to bring unnecessary amounts of stuff, which I actually like a lot. There's also the fact that a lot of war scrolls were balanced around summoning, which I think ended up weakening or hindering a lot of armies, like Seraphon, Tzeentch, Nurgle. It's like there's so many armies where they had summoning, and it'd be like, well, we need to balance this war scroll because we know it's going to get brought back, right? It's going to fight, and then at some point, they might just bring in another one. So you have to balance it around that. It can't just be like crazy. So now they have the ability to just balance war scrolls with a I guess the only way of bringing it back is if it dies. So if something's like so strong or tanky, it might not even die, right? Like, I don't know. I feel like summoning, it is better not being in the game as much as some people may want it. That's just how I personally feel. I'm sure there's people who are like, nah, right? There always are, but I don't know. I hated having to bring all my stuff. That's really what I hated about it too, was just bringing everything. So I'm fine with it. That's fine. It seems like they've got a good system in place. Yeehaw. Next up, Kairos Fateweaver. Here he is, Big Bird Man. 12 moves, 16 health, 5 up save, 5 control. Okay, it's all right. He has War Master, Unique Hero, Monster, Wizard 3. Woo! Maybe one of the best wizards we've seen, aside from Nagash, to be honest. I don't think I've seen a Wizard 3, honestly. I've seen Wizard 2. We've seen plenty of those. We've seen some Wizard 1s. We saw Nagash, who's like, you know, insane. I assume from seeing this now that the Slan are going to be Wizard 3 as well. And I think Lord Croak's probably Wizard 4, if I had to guess. So that's just my assumption, just from seeing everything. He's got Fly. He's got a 5-up ward. So he's a 5-up save, 5-up ward, 16 health. Okay. His big thing is his melee weapons are trash, whatever, but you're not using him for that. When you make a casting roll for this unit, you can change the lowest D6 to match the highest D6. So he keeps that. That's something they already had, which I think is pretty cool. I like that as a, like, Tzeentch, you know, manipulating time type of thing, right? Once per battle, reaction, you declared the Tactical Gambit ability. Pick one of the following effects. You can pick one battle tactic that you have already attempted, which is pretty cool, being able to redo a battle tactic. And then you can pick 2 battle tactics you have not yet attempted, but you can only complete one of them, even if you meet the conditions to complete both. The other does not count as having been attempted. If you do not complete either battle tactic, you can pick which does not count as having been attempted. This seems insane. I'm not gonna lie. This is like, battle tactics are so important in Sigmar. And it's just like, this dude can just, which I think is really cool, having, you know, Kairos Fateweaver and like all the time manipulation stuff. I think being able to do this is really sick. I love the thematic feel of it. However, I think it's gonna be insane. Like, I genuinely do. Being able to be like, I'm gonna do one of these 2 battle tactics, and then, you know, we'll see which one ends up working out. Or just being like, yo, I'm gonna redo that really easy battle tactic again, right? Like, this does seem really good. So, we'll see. Then we have the Beacon of Sorcery. Add 1 to casting rolls and unbinding rolls for friendly disciples of Tzeentch wizards while they are wholly within 12 of this unit. That seems pretty good. Probably because, you know, obviously it's adding 1 to his as well. And I haven't seen many add 1 to unbinding rolls, now that I think about it. I've seen a lot of add 1 to casting rolls. Well, actually, I haven't even seen that many add 1 to casting rolls, but I've only seen a lot of I haven't seen many unbinding buffs, so this does seem pretty strong. And then he has his spell, which goes off on an 8, so pretty much a 7. Pick a visible enemy unit within 18 inches of this unit to be the target, then make a casting roll. Pick one of the following effects to apply to the target until it's the start of your next turn. So that's always good when you get to, you know, potentially, let's say you do this top of round 2, and then your opponent goes, and then your opponent takes a double turn, and so it's just like, just numerous rounds of having a debuff on them, right? The target cannot use commands. That's pretty strong. I would say that's very strong. Subtract 1 from hit rolls and wound rolls for the target's attacks. That's also pretty good. At first, I was like, oh, hit rolls. And I was like, oh, hit and wound rolls. Okay, now we're talking. And then subtract 1 from save rolls for the target. So, I mean, all very good. I would say all 3 of these are very solid, depending on the situation. So, I mean, overall, Kairos Fateweaver seems pretty good. I like him a lot. Then we have the Gaunt Summoner, 5 move, 5 health, 6 up save, 2 control. He's got the old Crit Mortal Change Staff, Warp Tongue Blade, you know, garbage melee kind of, but you could pop some mortals or something. Big thing here is you can pick a friendly unit that's not been deployed, set it up in the tower, and then you can set up on the battlefield wholly within 12 of this unit, more than 9 inches from all enemy units. So It was kind of like this in the previous War Scroll or whatever. You would just put something in the tower and Deep Strike or whatever, right? Then they have a spell, which is pretty much you can go wholly within 18 of this unit and more than 7 from all enemies, which is pretty good. Being able to Deep Strike within 7, you still have to be within 18, but like you're starting to get a pretty big range there. But 7-inch Deep Strike that's spicy. I mean, some people will be like, oh, you know, 7 to 9 inches, whatever. But like, there's so many times I've rolled like 7s or 8s on a 9-inch charge, and you're just like, oh, come on. Like it makes a massive difference. I mean, it's like even if any type of number game, like if you play Blood Bowl, going from like a 2 up to a 3 up is massive. A 2 to a 4 up, like any advantage you can get is fantastic. Also, a Wizard 2, which is very nice. 6 up ward. Yeah. So, I mean, they seem pretty good. Then we have the Curseling. 5-inch move, 6 health, 3 up save, 2 control. Solid save. No ward save, though. Also a Wizard 2, but this guy is really cool because he's got the 18-inch D6 3x3 1 Ren 1 damage weird flame attack. So he can just put range flame on stuff as a hero, which is cool. His sword is mediocre. And then he's got each time this unit unbinds a spell, roll a dice. On a 4-up, subtract 1 from the power level of the enemy wizard that used that spell or ability, to a minimum of 0 until the start of your next turn. That seems so fun. Like you're fighting against, I don't know, just like a Slan, Seraphon, or just, I mean, you could fight other Tzeentch, who knows, right? And he's near Kairos, so he's getting +1 to unbind, right? And then say you're fighting like a Wizard 3, right? And all of a sudden, he casts one spell, you unbind it, you roll a 4-up, he just lost a cast. So now he's already down to 1 spell, and he's like, uh-oh, that's not good. And then, you know, until the start of your next turn. So now if they decide to take the double turn, and you just unbound 2 of their spells on their 3-wizard hero, they have 1 spell. Like, that could be kind of insane. Of course, you got to roll the 4-up, so that's still really cool. I like that he's kind of a professional unbinder. Then we have your hero phase. Make a casting roll until the start of your next turn. Add 1 to the Ren the damage characteristic of his staff and sword. So 5 attacks, 4x4, 2 Ren, 3 damage. So, I mean, okay, it's hitting pretty hard, but you still probably don't want to go fight with him or something. I don't know. You know, if you're desperate, I mean, that could be something cool. But then we have the Pink Horrors. 6 move, 2 health, 6 up save, 1 control. They have the Weird Flame, 12-inch range, 2 attacks, 4x4, 1 damage, and 1 attack, 4x4, 1 damage with their hands. And finally, they also have a 6-up ward. Each time a model in this unit is slain, before removing the model from play, pick one of the following effects. Split, pick a friendly Blue Horror and Brimstone Horror unit within 12 of this unit and return up to 2 slain Blue Horror models to that unit. Or, pick an enemy unit in combat with this unit to be the target and roll a dice. On a 4-up, you do a mortal damage on the target. Thank God, because, dude, I hated this unit. I'm not gonna lie. I get it was thematic. It's like the horrors are splitting and they just keep splitting. It was the most annoying shit to fight against, especially if somebody just spammed a bunch of these. It was like I had one instance somebody just kept spamming and people were like, I don't even want to play anymore. Like, this is so dumb. I mean, it's not, again, like I was saying earlier, it's just not fun to play against. And if somebody takes the time out of their week to be like, yo, I just, you know, I got done with work, I just want to have a chill game, I want to, you know, whatever, just play a game, and then all of a sudden you're like, here's my block of whores. They just keep splitting, and you're like, dude, I just don't care. It's just, it wasn't fun. So I think I like this middle ground. I don't even care if like they're worse than before. They should be worse than before. I hate these. It just, if you couldn't tell, I've had some annoying experiences with them. I also just hated building a bunch of all the blue horrors and the pink horrors and the brim. Like so this is fine. I'm fine with this. I think it's cool. It keeps some of that thematic feel, but it reduces the insanity of what it was dramatically. Thank God. What do we got down here? Oh, yeah, and then there's Spearhead, but we also kind of see the Acolytes, who are 5 move, 5 up save, 1 control, 1 health. It appears they have a ranged attack that does shitty damage, and then their Curse Blades, which also does shitty damage. And in what do you call it? Spearhead, you can make a casting roll and add 1 to the Rend characteristic of the Sorceress bolts this phase. So they'll probably have something similar to that in Sigmar, where they can cast a spell. Maybe they're a wizard 1, and they can buff themselves, or like, I don't know. They'll have something similar to that. We'll see, but they seem okay. We have to see the full War Scroll, but and then tomorrow we get Ogres. Yo, I'm pumped. Give me some Frost Lords. That's what I have, my full Frost Lord army. And then a couple of straggler Ogres, so that'll be fun. But overall, I really like what they did with Tzeentch. I think this is going to be much more fun to play against. I think it's going to be much more fun to play once people kind of just pick it up and play with it and give in and be like, hey, you know what? I'm just going to try it out. I think the burning mechanic's going to be really fun. I think it seems cool, and I think they still got some wacky tricks and cool ways to manipulate stuff, so I'm excited to try it out. They seem cool. But let me know what you think down in the comments section below. Always curious to hear what you have to say. And if you haven't seen my other faction-focused videos, I'll put some up on the screen. So thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Okay? Okay. See ya.